Hi guys, Greg Secker here. Well listen, welcome back to part 2 of the Ultimate Trading Plan. For those of you that tuned in yesterday and caught part 1, you'll remember that part 1, as a quick reminder, was all about the what and most importantly the why. And yesterday I asked you to put in the comments field your why. I also asked you to talk to 5 friends or certainly 5 people in your peer group to really check in with them and yourself. That will check up from the neck up to make sure that it really is the why, because that is the driving force behind human nature that makes the difference between getting up one more time and continuing and quitting. We don't want you to quit. We want you to succeed and we want you to be successful. So if you didn't follow through yesterday and you didn't comment about your why, remember this: by the end of this quest on day 4, which is coming up in 3 days' time, I'm going to elect, and my team and I are going to pick out the best why that you commented about from day 1, which is all about what your driving force is for doing this. And we know that builds the insurance up for when you have a bit of a setback. So if you haven't done that already, go back to day 1, get into those comment fields and make sure you put your comment in there as to your why. And then we'll be selecting the best one and giving you a year's fully paid subscription worth over $1,000 to SmartCharts with our blessings. As I said, yesterday, or part 1, was about the what and the why. And notice from an emotional or a psychological standpoint, it's really critical to get that in first. Your brain knows, why am I doing this? If you're going to suffer some pain, which I promise you will, whenever you take on something new like this, certainly trading or anything else where you want to try and succeed, you are going to experience pain at some point when things don't quite go the way you want them. So making sure that you've really identified where you're going, what it is for, and why is going to be critical to kind of protect you from reacting instead of responding to that emotional feedback you're going to get when things don't go quite well. So that's important. That's why I do it up front. Now, day 2 and part 2 is all about the how. So how do we set this up? And most importantly, I really want to talk about this in kind of 4 guises. We're going to give you a time check, a tech check, a fun check, and a risk check. Now you might think that's a lot of checks. Well, you actually might notice that today, in honor of checks or pre-flight checks, I'm wearing my pilot's t-shirt. So for those of you who know that I run a charity called the Greg Secker Foundation, and we do lots of work around the world, and we raise money using trading as a tool. And you might know that I'm a helicopter pilot, so I've got my helicopter pilot captain t-shirt on here. This is what I wear when we are doing the Flying Trader events. And I thought it was kind of good to wear this for this quest because in the same way you have a trading plan to become a successful financial trader, you need a plan as well, or a pre-flight check plan to be a helicopter pilot. You know, the one thing I can tell you this is, you know, your pre-flight check is the most important part of your flight plan as a pilot. You know, doing all those checks on the ground when you're safe certainly is a valuable time to do it. When you're up there at 2,500 feet, that is not the time to be checking that things all work perfectly and then discover they don't. So pre-flight checks and setting yourself up, planning it out is going to be critically important. So let's take you through the 4 steps of the plan then. So the time check. So this is your first part of this quest. I need you to identify a completely uninterruptible 90 minutes a day that you can commit to and stick to. And I want you to put it into your calendar, and I want to make sure that you hive this off as a time where you cannot be interrupted. And you may have seen this on other videos where I've talked about my 5-3-1 plan, where I say, look, understand 5 currencies, 3 strategies in the same time of day. If you can pick a consistent same time of day, and for those of you watching from the European session, look, I'm a big fan of trading the European session. You can trade it from anywhere in the world, of course. You can trade any session from any corner of the world. Of course you can. The European session I favor because it has great predictability and it has a lot of crossover with the American session as we get into our late afternoon. Trading that from Australia or the Far East or here home in Europe is a cracking idea. So I'm a fan of the European session, the early morning European session, which is late in the afternoon for the Asian market. Obviously, it's the same session when you're in Europe, and it's a little bit early for those in America. But that would be my suggestion, is to pick a time that's consistent with maybe the 6, 7, 8 o'clock a.m. Time zone on the European Central Exchange is a great idea. So pick that 90-minute, that's your time check, and make sure that nobody out there in the world around you can interrupt that time. It's really important that you lock that down. Now, that's your time check. So next up, tech check. So this is all about the setup stage, the tech check. So have you got the right tools to get this job done? This again is part of your trading plan. So you identify, when am I going to trade? Now you know I'm successful if I trade and I put myself in front of the screen at that time. Whether you're using a phone, desktop, what is your internet speed? If you go to a website called Speed Test by Ookla, you can run an internet speed test against your internet connection to see if it's quick enough and see if that you're moving in the right direction. Now, of course, if you've got less than 5 megabits coming down the pipe, you may have interruptions in your trading day because that's probably not quick enough. I use a 1,000 megabit connection. That's important to me because obviously lots of data running around, but you'll notice that for those of you using SmartCharts, it doesn't actually use a tremendous amount of data, but you want to make sure you've got over 5 to 10 megabits coming down. If you haven't got that, then maybe you need to revise and look at getting yourself a different internet connection. But from a tech check point of view, you want to make sure that you've got a browser operating system, you've got decent internet speed over 5 megabits. Check that on Speed Test Ookla to make sure that you are good to go. Now listen, whilst you can trade using SmartCharts on an iPhone, I recommend that you have a place which has a larger screen than that. You can use an iPhone, you can use down to an iPhone 5 for SmartCharts too. I highly recommend, however, you use a desktop or use a laptop. I use a MacBook Pro as well as I do use other laptops around my house. In fact, I've got trading screens all over my house. Wherever I walk, I can always hit a trading screen if I want to look at one. That might be slightly obsessive for some of you, but I would highly recommend that you use a desktop or a laptop or a PC laptop or an Apple laptop. So that's your tech check. Any questions on that, about your tech check, put them in the comments. My team will help you out, no problem. Next one, fun check. The more capital, the more flexibility. So there's a rule of thumb here. I want you to think about for every $1,000 or £1,000 that you have in your trading account really should equate to the number of open positions you should be managing any time. That's a really difficult thing to say because many people say to me, how much money do I need, Greg? How long is it going to take? And all that. I say, listen, don't worry about how long it's going to take. Worry about getting good first before you even think about how much money you're going to make. Worry about getting strong first. Worry about getting disciplined first. Worry about getting your plan done first and following your plan. Then the money will come as a byproduct of that. But most importantly, when you think about how much capital you need, the biggest mistake beginners make is they are undercapitalized. So as a rule, and this is a really rough rule of thumb because obviously all asset classes are different, about $1,000 for each position. So if you've got 10 grand in your account, you can probably run 10 positions if they're not big positions. But if you've only got $1,000 in your account and you're trying to run 3 or 4 positions, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So about £1,000 of local currency or $1,000 for each position you run, as long as you're sticking to the 1 to 2% risk management profile. What I don't want you to do is have a tiny amount of capital in your account, run lots of positions, and then because of the movement of all of those positions, you end up getting margin called. Don't want that to happen for you. So that's your fund check. I would suggest, therefore, that if you are trading between 3 and 5 positions a day, you'd want $3,000 to $5,000 or pounds in your trading account. Last of your checks is your risk check. What are the account and trade risk parameters? So how much of the absolute account are you prepared to have at risk? And how much are you prepared to risk per trade? If you have any questions around those, do put them in the comments and my team will help you out. But realistically, you don't really want to be exposing more than 10% of the account at any one given time, and you don't want to be risking more than 2% per trade. That would equate to running 5 positions simultaneously at 2% trade risk, which would sum up to 10% of the account risk. They are some of the rough parameters that you would be looking to slot into those boxes. So that's your setup part. Now, the assets and tactical trading. If you don't know the answers to these, I'm going to handle this a little bit more in part 4. But now you really want to be thinking about, and this is the next part of your plan, don't worry, at the end of part 4, after you've written all this down, you're going to get this amazing trading plan to fit all of the information into, which I think you're going to love. Plus, we're going to give you a daily trading journal. So you actually can print this daily trading journal out. You'll notice they are multiple replicatable sheets, which will focus your mind for where you're going in the morning and give you reflective time in the afternoon. It's one of the most incredible technologies or human technologies that we've developed over the last 15 years. So once you've got your trading plan in place, which we're now starting to build, after you're capturing all of what I'm saying to you throughout this 4-part series, you're going to take this information and you're going to slot it into the trading plan template format that we're going to give you. We're also going to give you a trading journal, which is a daily journal. You print those sheets out, and that's going to get you focused and set up for each day. So some of those questions now on the assets and tactical. We've talked about the setup, which was time, tech, fund, and risk. We've done that piece. Now we've got to talk about assets. So what are we trading? Are we trading jelly beans? Are we trading currencies? Are we trading commodities? Are we trading stock indices? What the hell are we trading? So we need to know which currencies we're trading, and that has to be stated in our trading plan. Why? So that means that when you trade some like cross-euro stocky crazy currency pair which has the widest spread possible and you can't make any money on it, you know it's outside of your plan. The plan is all about defining up front what time, what currencies, what strategies, when I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it, so it's clear. And then when the plan is nice and clearly defined like that, the first thing I'll ever ask you if I meet you in person is show me your plan. And all I have to do is look at your plan and then look at what you've done. And if those two things don't match up, I know you're not successful. But if those two things do match up, then I know you're a successful trader, even if your results aren't great. Because if I know you can follow a plan, I know you're disciplined. And give me one disciplined trader against 100 hopefuls. You know, I want that person that can lay this plan out and follow this plan as closely as possible, because that, as we said in video 1, there the rule changes. We change the rule from success is not how much money you make, it's how closely you can follow the plan. Because when we've got a plan, we've got a control, and we've got something we can adjust and test ourselves against. So it's really important. The questions now are, how would you pick, or which currency pairs will you be trading? Question number 1 on assets and tactical trading. Which strategies are you going to be using? So we identify up front which strategies we're going to be using, and then we don't deviate from that. You're not allowed to then go off and start playing with 101 different strategies, because we've got to make sure we've got some control so we can test you against the strategy and then figure out which one isn't working in this, so we can get the most optimum combination of you, the currency, and the strategy. When we get those three things together on the right time horizon, which matches your daily schedule so you can participate in this at a specific time every day, you're going to find that's where a trading plan comes together, and that is really where the magic happens. So I hope you're as excited about this for yourself as I am for you, because boy, without a trading plan, this game is practically impossible. With a trading plan, you know where you are every single day. And by doing that, you get better and better. I tell you what, most people who've been trading for 3 or 4 years and still aren't successful, let me tell you what they do. They do month 1 36 times. You know, they aren't improving because they never lock down a plan which they can measure themselves against to then go up, go further. And this is why this quest is going to be one of the most important quests that you follow on this channel today. So I hope you're enjoying it. So we then need to understand what indicators we need to master. So we're really talking about pairs, strategies, time frames, and indicators for our assets and tactical trading. And then the third step of your how is coaching and feedback. Now, if you are somebody that's new to this, which I think most people are on this channel, you are not the best person to coach you. Because, you know, if you think about you want to become a professional tennis player, as a beginner, you don't go coach yourself to play tennis. You might knock a ball against a wall for a little bit, but if you're going to take this game further, you need professional coaching. So you need to solicit feedback from people who have done this. Critically important, because they will see where your scotoma is. And your scotoma is your blind spot, the bit you don't see. And that's what great coaches are all about. So you need to make sure you understand, as part of your plan, how do I maximize my strengths and minimize my weaknesses? How do I plan this daily schedule? How do I get feedback from people who have done this before, who can see where I may need some help and some improvement? And look, my team are here, we can help you with that. This channel is here for free to help you with that. So make sure that when we start to get this plan together, questions are going to now crop up for you. And I want that to be a part of what happens, because without questions, there's going to be no clarity, right? Questions are where you're testing yourself against where I am and soliciting feedback. Right now, you might not even know what those questions are, but I think a plan is going to really help you start to identify those questions. Now, lots of questions, right? How do I trade when I've got a full-time job? Look, if you have a 9-to-5 job, that certainly doesn't fit intraday trading. You should probably be really aware of that. So in that case, we would want you on the daily chart and the 4-hour chart, but nothing any lower than that. Even though you can use automated trading systems like SmartCharts to manage all those stops, limits, and entry orders for you, I don't want you in anything lower than a 4-hour or a daily hour window. That would be too smaller time frame if you are holding down a full-time job and you can't you can't stare at the markets throughout the day. So let's just have a quick bit of a roundup on video 2 here. It's all about the pre-flight check, right? I'm a helicopter pilot for a reason. I do all of my checks on the ground before I get in the air, and that is what the answers to these elements of the trading plan now and why they're so critically important. I want you to share your ideas on this channel. I want you to put it in the comments so we can give you some feedback. Successful people have successful habits. You know, this is all about routines now. The most successful people in the world don't do things sporadically. They have a routine. So I'm trying to instigate a routine in your life where we clearly outline in this trading plan the guts of what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, and then this is now the how on day 2 to figure out exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, when we're doing it, and what we're not doing and what we are doing. And this is all about you creating an uninterruptible 90 minutes of time where no one can get in your face, that you can commit to, stick to, and then make sure that you're set up for success. Today, check your tech. Go on to Ookla and speed test. Make sure you've got the right speed. Make sure you've got your a laptop. Make sure you've got all the tools you need to get going. And in the comments, stay engaged until part 4 to see the giveaway. Let's help each other out. Any comments you can give other people. If you have any questions, some people have asked about, you know, those screens that can slide out on your laptop. That's part of your trading plan if you're going to use those tools. Please make sure that you ask those questions. Let's help each other here. Let's use this as a proper quest. So we go through this bit by bit and we ensure that we can help each other out. Now, make sure you stay tuned for part 3. So part 3 now is going to move into a slightly different area. So part 1 was about the what and the why. Part 2 is about the how, right? You're going to get a template at the end of all this of how to fill it all in, but we're going to do it bit by bit. The problem with any plan is that most people who make plans don't use them, and a plan not used is no more valuable than a plan that was never set in the first place. In other words, a plan unused is wasted. Part 3 is all about helping you handle the monkey in the cage. What do I mean by the monkey in the cage? It's your emotional state, it's your trading psychology. I'm going to go into more depth in this tomorrow and show you how to stay on track and not deviate from your plan. How to make sure you handle the emotional monkey in the cage. This is going to be really, really important for you. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. This is part 2. We're getting warmed up now for part 3. Look, if you like this video, don't forget to hit like. Please hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber to my channel. And also, don't forget, I'm really looking forward to reading your comments and your feedback. My team, I've got a big team, so they're all answering comments and helping you guys out. I want to make this a really valuable quest for you. So many people on this channel, by the way, I really appreciate you guys doing this, asking for the trading plan, because it is from you guys that asked so many times about having a trading plan that we said, damn it, let's just build the ultimate trading plan and give them my trading journal in one thing. So that's coming in a couple of days' time, and I think you're going to be really excited to have that template after you've done the work leading up to it. So guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tune in for part 3. It's going to be amazing. Look forward to seeing you then.